How? I love when people tell me like, yo, he used to be crazy. He used to kill everybody, but now he's the good. He don't kill people no more. How you know? How you know? Hi guys, welcome to my life, my world, my everything. Welcome to Tasha Reacts. Welcome to Tasha Reacts. Alright. Hope everybody's doing well, doing good in the hood. As you know, every time I do steal someone's content, react to someone's content, if I can find their social media, I will link it here or here. It's usually over here. If the person comes up to me and say, hey girl, you do not have the right to be sharing my video, I will take it down because I don't care. Alright, so let's get started.
I am currently facing life in prison in a foreign country. And if you've been following my account over the past year, you know that I was framed for a drug crime in a foreign country by my ex-boyfriend.
I forgot to say, my friend Spice Life TV, she's who recommended this girl to me, and she told me to watch it. So I haven't watched anything. I just downloaded all her videos, put them together. So we're reacting to it together. And she's very pretty. She's really pretty.
I've had dreams to move overseas for like probably 5+ years. For the last 5 years of my life, I quite literally, if you know me, if you're close to me, you know that I have always dreamt of living overseas. That has always been one thing that I've always said that I wanted to do, and I always said I want to do it for at least a year. I just want to go overseas. I want to try it out. I want to experience life outside of America. So this was a dream that I had set, and it was in my 5-year plan, and I hit that mark right at the end of my 5-year plan. So I quite literally had someone in my life at that time who was there to cause a complete detour and a complete distraction. I had someone there who wanted my life and would stop at nothing to make sure that I no longer had my life.
You know, the crazy thing is, I was watching another girl's reaction videos, and hers was kind of similar too. And I was saying in that reaction video, like, if somebody hates, you can date somebody and they can legitimately hate you. I dated people, even I would say the last dude that I dated, he legitimately hated me. Like, no matter even if he pretend like, you know, whatever, but he would destroy me. And there's some people that is like that, like they legitimately hate you. Like they will do anything in their power to make you weak or make you lose everything because they see something in you. And like, even if you losing your life to them, it's like, yes, that's what she deserved. Like, and it's sad, but some people, it's crazy like that. Some people come in your life, sleep with you, build a relationship with you just to destroy you. That's their motive because they hate you. And it don't start off that way, but you know,
The life that I've been working hard for most of my life. So yeah, we're really going to get into like the spiritual aspects, everything. Like there's just so many components of this story, and I can't just jump into like, this is what happened overseas. No, we got to go into what really happened and how we even got to the point of someone being able to frame me for drug smuggling in a foreign country. My intuition has been screaming at me to start this freaking story time, and I have to stop ignoring it at this point. But before we get into like what's currently happening and, you know, what went on in court, what went on when I got to said foreign country, we need to go backwards. And we need to talk about everything that I missed in my relationship with a narcissist and a sociopath and someone who quite literally wanted to steal my life from me. At the end of the day, if I can help two people who are currently in a relationship with a narcissist or who are currently going through some of the situations that I've gone through, and when I tell you from physical abuse to sexual abuse to emotional abuse to verbal abuse, everything in the last 2 years, I've quite literally been through it all. And yeah, if I can help someone through the situation or out of the toxic situation that they are currently in, this stuff is real, man. And someone quite literally tried to take my life from me in the physical sense and in a literal sense, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's get started with this story time. But like I said, we're going backwards. So it's going to be a season 1 and a season 2. This season 1 is pretty much everything that I missed from start to finish that I can think of right now in this moment. Let's go. So if you watched my last video, you know by now that I am currently facing life in prison in a foreign country because I was framed. But as I said, there will be a season 1 and a season 2 to this story. So right now what we're going to do is kind of go backwards in the story so I can tell you all every freaking red flag, every sign, everything I missed in my relationship with a narcissist and a sociopath and probably a psychopath. I don't know if he's a sociopath or a psychopath, but definitely one of them. So I can tell you everything I missed. So let's get started from the beginning. So in the beginning, everything was great. So I thought. But little did I know I was being love bombed. And honestly, I feel like the type of person I am, I feel like when someone love bombs me, I'm just kind of like, I deserve that. Like, I deserve to be showered in the very beginning, you know? And that's probably not the best way to go about life.
I think everybody goes through the love bomb stage, especially when you never went through love bomb. Like, my son's father was the big love bomber. My daughter's father didn't love bomb me. You know, it just was natural. Like, you know, we was in a relationship, whatever, and he was consistent. I'm not gonna lie. You know, my daughter's father was the type of dude that he was very consistent. He was a cheater, but he was very consistent. Like, he genuinely showed love. My son's father was a type of person, he's a pretender, so he'll do everything for you. He will buy flowers for you, buy gifts for you, buy everything for you, so you think in your heart like, wow, he's great. No, he is trying to get you, and then when he gets what you want, then the real him comes, you know. Because I'm like, that the girl that he's dating, that's a poor girl, she don't know. But it's not just me. Even the other girl that he was with, same thing. She, you know, when we like, you know, yeah, you know, that's how he is. He will love bomb you. He'll buy you big gifts. He's a very show off person. You know, he's the type of person like everybody will be like, oh, he's such a great guy, when he really isn't. It's just his motive. Like, they have a motive. It's either the motive is to upgrade themselves through you, or their motive is to steal, or their motive is just to destroy you. You know what I'm saying? Like, love bombing, I'd rather a guy that shows me who they really are in the beginning than a love bomber, because then it's confused the shit out of you. Like, what? What just happened?
Now that I can look back at this situation, probably not the best way to go about life. So in the beginning, everything was great. So I thought, I had my job. He worked for my ex, my narcissistic ex, worked for the mayor. And we're going to get into why that's so crazy, but we're not there yet. When I met him, I actually met him out with his coworkers. And so, you know, I was like paying attention to how they were interacting. It seemed like the energy was good. The atmosphere was good. They weren't like giving him any like looks, like anything that I could notice to make me think like, he's not really liked in the office. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, you know, a little rough around the edges, but he seemed cool. He works for the mayor. You know, in the beginning, he told me that he made $125,000 a year. I was like, okay, okay. That turned out to be a lie. But I was just like, okay. And I'm thinking, you know, he works for the mayor of, he works for one of the largest mayors in the country. I'm thinking my background check is mostly done. Do I still do a small little background check? Yes, but I didn't go too much into detail as I usually would with background checks because I'm thinking this person works for the mayor.
You know, it's so crazy how she talk. Like, a lot of people say that they do background checks. I don't. I never done a background check. I just trust you. There's people who come up to me like, oh, Toshki, da da da. You heard about da da da. You heard about da da da. Maybe that's why I get played so much, because I never done a background check on a man. Like, wow, why do I have to? But now I learned. But a lot of girls, but I've done background checks on him. He checked all the boxes, baby. I must have been dating criminals, because, baby, I never do a background check. I just date them. I meet you, you so sweet, so sweet. Like, I'm a type of person, like, well, not now, because whatever. But back in the day, like, I just go for the word. Like, you can be like, oh, Tasha, I'm a great guy, and I'm single, and I'm a bachelor. I'm going to believe you. Because, like, why would, you know? But I see everybody, like, I did my background check. I did a background check. Like, baby, dang, you got to be an FBI to date. You can't just take people's word anymore. Ooh, child. That's too much. I'm going to be single.
The background check is done, and the way he tells it, he said that he was working for the mayor for over a year, blase, blase, blah, blah. He was working for DC government for a few years prior, blase, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Anyway, come to find out, all of that was a lie. He had only been employed with the mayor's office for a few months and had never worked for DC government prior. So here we are to the very first red flag I missed. When I first met this man, he wanted to be around me 24/7. All the time. I mean, if I was on lunch break for work, he was pulling up to my job, like, come on, let's go out to lunch, like, blah, blah, blah. And from our very first interaction, he knew that my job at the time was pretty stressful for me, because I literally met him at happy hour while I was decompressing from my job. So it did come up the first time we met. Going back, I probably would not divulge information like that to a stranger. But he would be like, oh, come on, like, let's go out. Like, I'm going to get you lunch. Like, come on, let's go eat. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, after I would get off work, he'd be like, oh, I'm going to come meet you somewhere. Let's go out to dinner. Like, you know, like, I mean, he quite literally wanted to take up all of my free time. And because of the place that I was in at that time, I didn't mind it. But any other time, that would probably be, or that would have probably been a red flag for me. It just wasn't a red flag in that moment. So outside of everything else, I think him working at the mayor's office is what really kind of got him in with me. And then we would go to the mayor's events, or we would go to events around the city where the mayor's staff had to be present. Like one of the dates we went on, we went to a baseball game, and we were in the mayor's box seats at this baseball game. And I know that to be true because when the lady checked our tickets, they were like, oh, you're in the mayor's box. And we were like, yeah. And, you know, we went on to the mayor's box. So I knew that to be true. And in the beginning, he was introducing me to things in DC that I had not been introduced to as an adult. So I was just really kind of out enjoying life, having a good time, and wasn't really thinking too much of it. So yeah, the first major red flag that I missed was him wanting to be pretty much in my skin every second. And the crazy thing about this, the crazy thing about that and allowing that to happen is that I had literally just cut off a friend right before I met him, probably like within the same month. Like, I cut her off and then met him. I cut off a friend right before I met him because I had noticed that she had wanted to be around me too much. There were other things that went into play, just kind of like her wanting to be in my skin, watching me so closely, always wanting to know what I'm doing, always wanting to know where I'm at, always wanting to like know what, like, how do I do this, how do I get this job, how do I do my business, how do I da 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 da. So I literally just
I don't know, that part's a little weird to me, because I feel like if somebody's like cool with you or really loves you or really like, people always want to be with you like all the time. There's some people that is just like that. Like me, I'm very antisocial, so I'm different. But there's some people that just always, like, I have friends that I always want to be with, especially if you put that out like in the beginning, that I'm always talking on the phone with you, I'm always hanging out with you, I'm always with you, you're sharing your business, we're building our lives, like, well, not building our lives together, but in a way, like, I'm building my life and you're building your life, and we want to grow together, so I don't know, maybe there's, like she said, there is more to it, but in a way, like, it kind of seems like you're kind of fishy, like, why would you cut somebody off for just always being around you? You can have hopefully you had a conversation with that person, you let that person know, like, hey girl, yo, I need 50 feet, because some people are like that. Some people do not like people always around them. But when somebody says like, yo, I had to cut her out because she was always around me, it seems like you're like doing something suspicious. Like, why does it matter if the person's around you or not? You know what I'm saying? That's your friend. Like, your friend should be around you all the time, especially if it's your close friend. Some people are different, but that part is a little off to me. This is my opinion. Me, okay? Please.
Literally just cut off a friend, and then for this person to come in and then to be like trying to be like literally in my skin every second, it was just, it takes me back when I look at it that way. And I don't really want to go into detail about my friend because the story is not about her, but they have a lot of parallels. Once we get into this story, they have a lot of parallels. For me to have gotten rid of her and then him to come right in, that's insane. So in the beginning, one of the first major red flags that I missed, this is the very beginning of our relationship too. And I had went on vacation to California. I went on a girls trip, and we went for, I think, the weekend, but I had planned to stay for a few days after that. I don't remember how many days that we were all staying, but I had planned to stay for a few days after, just by myself. So the last day that I was there with my friends, and when I was branching off to be by myself in LA, he calls me hysterically crying, and his brother had just passed away in Virginia, and he's like boo-hoo crying, like, I can't believe this happened. His brother was like shot or killed, I can't really remember, but he calls me like hysterically crying and like, oh my god, da, 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 and like doing all the theatrics on the phone. And so I made the decision to go home from California early. I battled with myself in that moment to not do that, because this man is really not that freaking important. And I wish, like, looking back on it, that I never did do that, because I think that let him know right there. That was a test on his end, like a narcissistic test, and it was a narcissistic test that I failed miserably.
Okay. I want to, because there's a difference when you're being truthful and you're hurt. Because if you went to go see him, right, something in your heart cared. Okay, now you're saying he wasn't that freaking important for me to, no. I think you're hurt, and I think now you're just angry. But at that time, I feel like people need to do that, because I used to do that too. Sometimes you got to eliminate the anger and put yourself in the situation for real. At the time, you probably really did like him. and you know, you were really feeling him, you know, that's anybody. You're feeling him, you're getting to know him. Because even if he wasn't that important, you wouldn't do it. If you didn't care, you wouldn't do it. You did do it. That means you like that person. I hate when people, now that they're angry, like, oh, that person was even that important. That person didn't even matter. He didn't matter. You're mad. You know, we found out that he's a grimy person. Yeah. But at the time, he did matter. Because I do that too. When I'm mad at a person, I'm like, I didn't even like him like that. Yes, I did. I did. You know what I'm saying? I did like him. And that's why I did certain X, Y, and Z action. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot, because I be listening to a lot of story time. People always do that. Like, he wasn't even all that cute, and he wasn't even that important, and he wasn't even that, but you dated him. I do that too, so I'm not even gonna say whatever. But at the past tense, you did like him, and you know, now you're putting everything together because now you're realizing who he really is. But at that present time, he was important because you cared. You cared that he was hurt. He lost somebody. You genuinely cared. That's anybody. That's just like me being cool with somebody and the person lost a family member or a friend or whatever. I would drop everything and be there for them. Because that's a different type of situation.
Looking back at it, I don't think that there was ever anyone who passed away.
Wait a minute. Oh girl, you made me retract my thought. You know what? Yo, you know my son's father did that to me one time. My son's father made up a whole lie about someone dying. And there was nobody dying. My son's father made up a point that one time he was in the hospital and he was rushed in the emergency room and he was admitted and he never was. Like, because his friend ended up having beef with him and ended up telling me that he never went to the hospital. So, yo. Okay, girl. Sad. I do still mean what I said before, but you know what I'm saying, at the time you did care for that person. Now you're noticing and you're starting to put two and two together like, this don't make sense, this don't add up, this don't add up. Yeah.
He never talked about it afterwards. He may have talked about that for a week, and one time I actually brought it up, like, he never went to the funeral. Like, for him to be that hysterical, did not go to the funeral. And the one time I brought it up, he looked at me like a deer in the headlights. Like, he did not know what I was talking about his brother passing away. And his brother in the sense of a really close friend that he grew up with. Never heard of that person again. He never brought him up like, oh man, I miss my brother. Remember I told you my brother passed away? Never brought that person up again. So I'm like 100% sure. I'll give it 99% sure that no one ever passed away. And it was a lie. Either way, it was a test for me to come home from my trip early because I could not be on vacation without him. And that was the first test to see how much he could control my life.
I feel like I'm not even ready to hear what's happening. Her skin is beautiful. She's very beautiful. She's a really, really pretty girl. A girl. All right, let's go on.
So part 2 of the Menace saga. My ex will be referred to as the Menace moving forward, because that's quite literally what he is. And I just want to say before I get started with this part, I am not putting all the blame on this person. At the end of the day, like I said, I didn't follow my intuition. I didn't follow my gut feelings, and I did not look at the red flags. This story time is quite literally going through everything that I freaking missed. While I take full accountability for the role I played in having this person in my life and for all the signs that I missed, I take full accountability for that. So for the comments that are already starting to come in like you need to take accountability, my accountability is there. And that's why I'm doing this story time. And I'm doing this story time to quite literally help other people and to bring awareness to other people.
Dang, she didn't even get to part 2 and they're like, you need to, I don't know, I haven't been following her, so maybe she was saying stuff. The people like, dang, you need to take accountability. Not dong. Could you tell the story? Can she finish? Like, but I don't know. I haven't watched everything. My friend Spice just sent this to me, and you know, this is how I'm watching it. But I don't know what is like the, if she says stuff, if there's other reels, if she, you know, give little hints, whatever. I don't know. But I'm like, dang, could she finish her story? Could she get her point across? But that's people for you. People, ooh, social media, you gotta be a tough cookie, cause everybody think they're better than you.
So, not to this comment or this commenter, but like, let's just not even go there. Like, don't even go there. Thanks. So, to start with part 2, as I already said, he worked for the mayor. That checked out. That was correct. In the beginning, he said that he owned a house, and the house had flooded, and that they were like working on repairing the house, and the house was so big, it had 5 bedrooms, and it was just too big for him, and he was planning on putting the house up for rent, and then like just using part of that money just for like a little apartment or something in the city. So that was like the story that I got in the beginning. Anyway, come to find out, that wasn't true. He did not own a house, and for accountability, I could have easily looked that up. I didn't. I just took what he was saying at face value. I really, quite literally, didn't think that someone could come into your life and lie as much as this person like lied. I was not even like thinking that at all. Like,
I had a feeling that he was lying, because I have people that always make up stories like, oh, if you ask about me, I had this, I had that, I made this, you know what I'm saying, and they didn't. So I was about to say, like, when she was talking about her background check, I said that you can check. Like, you can check if someone else has a house or something. Or some people do have it under other people's names and stuff like that. But that I was about to say that, and she said it. But you can look that up. Like, okay. Because a lot of people, I feel like when people first meet you, they try to keep up a persona. Especially the fact that he works for the mayor. So he has to look like he's doing more than he really is. He has to look like he's having more money than he really is. Because there's people that could be working high value situations, but it's how you manage your money. You know what I'm saying? There's people that is in high value situations and don't know how to manage their money. And people in lower situation are doing better than the high value people. So, you know.
I wasn't thinking that. And so anyway, he was living in a house, but it was not his house. It was someone else's house. And I think the story goes that the person who owned the house was actually putting the house up for rent again and had like put him out of the house or something. I don't really know. I don't know all the details about that story, or I can't remember. I think at some point I may have known, but I can't remember. And mind you, also, the way I'm telling you the story is hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. While I was going through the situation, I was not paying attention to everything that I know now, or I did not know everything that I currently know now. Everything was kind of taken at face value, like, because like, why would someone just be lying about everything? I mean, everything. So once I started letting him come over to my house, it was kind of like he always wanted to be there. He never really left. My apartment building was a party building in the city. Like, there were always parties, there were always house parties, there were always pool parties, rooftop parties, whatever the case may be. So one day I worked 2 jobs. I had a day job and a night job, and I was at my night job, and I didn't know that the menace was like still like just in my apartment building. So people were sending me videos and pictures of him being at a house party in my apartment building, and initially I was just kind of like, that's weird. Like, and like people were like, hey, is it okay that he's here? Like, and I'm like, I mean, that's kind of weird. Like, why is he just hanging around at like my apartment complex? But like, again, didn't really take it into consideration. So when I got home this night, he is like rushing to come tell me a story. And mind you, I'm getting home at like 2 a.m., maybe 3 a.m. I don't know. He's rushing to come tell me the story about how this girl at this party was trying to talk to him, was like trying to get with him, and was telling him that he was poly, that she was poly, basically insinuating that she wanted to be in a relationship with me and him at the same time. And like all this stuff that was not like, I'm not comprehending. I'm like, what? Like that's not even the type of vibes that I give off, so I don't understand why she would like be talking to you about that. You know what I mean? Like, I was just kind of like, what? So I was like, okay, well, let's go up to this party. Go up to the party, nothing. So the girl ends up texting me later, and she's like, hey, like, we need to talk. So she comes to me and she's like, hey, like, he made a lot of people feel uncomfortable at that party. He made a lot of women feel uncomfortable. He was very sexual. He tried to follow somebody back to their room. He just made people feel very uncomfortable, and I really think you should like kind of reconsider like this decision on being with him. Like, basically, like, long story short, that's kind of what she was doing. And so I was like, okay, took into account what she said. And like in that moment when I was talking to her, like, I was already making the decision to not allow him back into my home. I was like, first of all, like, you're not gonna have women feeling uncomfortable, like, you know, like, absolutely the fuck not. And so I'm having this conversation with him, and I go up like, you're not about to be in my house having people uncomfortable. Like, you gotta go, like, pretty much. And so then I go up, and I start having a conversation with some of my friends who were at the party, and they were like, T, nothing happened. The person who told you that, she's been having a lot of problems in the building. She has something going on. She's starting drama with everybody. Nothing happened. He was a lot of fun. Everybody was just having fun. Nothing happened at this party. And this is multiple people telling me this at this point. So now I'm kind of like, okay, well, maybe she's just starting something. Like, what the hell? But no, she was right. Ended up like coming out that he had actually at this particular party went into a bathroom. Another girl was in the bathroom trying to use the bathroom. He went into the bathroom, took his wee out while she was in the bathroom, and starts using the bathroom while she's in there. Other things happened, but these things didn't come out until later. So also later, after all of this stuff happened to me, my friend ended up telling me, one of the friends that was...
Wait a minute. What? Girl. So the girl was probably telling you because he probably did it to her, but other people probably didn't see it, so they're probably like, yeah, she's problematic, she's this, she's that. Or she could have been defending somebody else, you know? And that's what sucks sometimes, because when you're problematic, and I'm telling you, like, yo, this is what's going on, and you're like, whatever, you know how she is, you know how Becky is. Becky's always complaining. Baby. Baby.
Also later, after all of this stuff happened to me, my friend ended up telling me, one of the friends that was telling me in the beginning that nothing happened at this party, he was like, you know, he was really weird at that party, but I just wanted to like support your decisions, and I just didn't want to make it seem like anything was going on, but I probably should have told you that he was kind of weird.
Yes, like, what? As a friend, but okay, I'm gonna say both sides. As a friend, I would have told you, like, whatever, but he probably noticed she liked him, or she probably noticed that, you know, I don't know, because I feel like we're insiders looking out, you know, we're outsiders looking in, so there has to be a reason why that person felt as if like, yo, I didn't want to tell you, because she probably really liked him. She probably felt like she was, you don't know what she was telling them. Because if somebody knows that somebody I'm just talking to and he's like nobody to me, my people will tell me like, yo, Tasha, Michael, he is weird. Michael is weird. Oh my God. You know, I'm just using his name as Michael. But if it's somebody that you really like, people are going to be a little bit more careful to be real with you, because they feel as if like, dang, she really likes him. I don't want to be the reason why, or I don't want to end this friendship over X, Y, and Z.
You are my friend. If I come to you and I ask you for your opinion on something at any time, You tell me the freaking truth. Like, because I was already on the verge of like ending everything with this man based off of what she was saying, and like never allowing him back into my home. And then it was like you and my friends who were saying nothing happened. So that was that. But yeah, so he did try to apparently sexually assault some people at this party, or it was just being really weird with them. And that comes about later, because all of these things are like kind of like hints to like things that were going to get worse in my life later. Because I was sexually assaulted, and we'll get into that in another story time that comes about a lot later. But yeah, my friends were no help with that situation. He did try to follow someone to her apartment. He did whip his wee-wee out in front of somebody in a bathroom. He was being sexually inappropriate with multiple women at this party. But nobody came to me and came forth and said anything. The majority said nothing happened. He was a lot of fun. He loves you. Like, he really likes you. I can see the way he looks at you. Like, don't pay attention to what that girl said. She's lying. That's what the majority came to me saying. But had I just listened to that girl, I would not be here. I would not be here. Like, so also, mind you, when they were telling me that this girl lies and not to listen to her, not to believe her, I'm instantly going into protect black men mode, because now there is a person outside of my race who is accusing someone of being sexually inappropriate with women. And so now I'm like, all these people are saying you're lying. You're not about to do that to a black man. Mind you, hindsight's 2020. This is a black man that should have never in life been protected. He should have been put out. I should have never spoken to him again. But the majority said she was lying and he was fine. So, protect black men. Never again.
Girl, I just feel as if your friends he probably was acting weird, but I don't feel like your friends probably seen what the girl, maybe he was inappropriate with her, and because she just has a history of being, I don't know, I feel like I'm stressed listening to the story. Like why? You know, sometimes you want to know, like, why did the friends lie? What was the reason? But you wonder, like, maybe you have a history of cutting people off for a man. It could be different things. I don't know. I'm an outsider looking in. I'm stressed. Alright, baby.
I keep seeing comments about go to the embassy. Y'all don't think I went to the embassy? Like, this is what the embassy does. They give you pamphlets. They give you a list of lawyers. They give you a list of resources, some paperwork, some papers to read over, to look over. And they send you on your way. That's what the embassy did. So, go to the embassy? No, like, it's not this big safe haven. Let's hurry up and get you out of here. Like, it's not that, you know? And then I also keep seeing people like, oh, like, you're so calm. How are you so calm? Bro, I've been dealing with this for over a year now. Like, I've had the anxiety attacks. I've had the depression. I'm still freaking depressed. I've had the panic attacks, the crying on the floor, the can't breathe, the can't wake up from sleep, the can't go to sleep. I've had it all. Like, I'm just, like, at this moment, like, it's just kind of like I'm just working to have the best outcome. Like, that's it. That's all I can do. And I'm going to smile through it. I can't be miserable. All right, so back to part two. The friends that were telling me nothing happened were men and women. I am not still in communication with the majority of those people who told me that nothing happened. They weren't necessarily like best friends or anything. They were more so acquaintances and good neighbors, like, you know, people that I partied with often because I was in a party building. But I can't say that they were like besties or anything like that, no. All right, so this leads me to a dentist appointment that the menace had. The menace said that he had a dentist appointment. He had to get a tooth pulled. I was like, oh, like, do you need me to pick you up? And I was like, are they putting you under, putting you on like laughing gas or anything? Do you need me to pick you up? And he was like, no. They said that they don't need to put me under. They're just numbing the mouth. So I'll be good. I'll be able to, see you afterwards. And I'm like, okay, cool. So he comes back from his dentist appointment, has gauze in his mouth, and is like, man, my tooth hurts so bad. Like, it was so bad. They didn't finish the extraction. They only took out like half the tooth, and they were like literally pulling on it. And I don't even think like it was ready to come out. They couldn't get the whole tooth out. And he's like, I need Percocets. And I'm like, they didn't give you pain medication? And he's like, nah, they didn't send it in yet. Like, I need something right now. Like, you know anybody who has something right now? And I'm like, no, like, I have Tylenol. Like, you want some Tylenol? So after this day, I noticed that he wasn't at work for a few days. And so I'm like, you haven't been going to work? And he's like, nah, since I had gotten back from the dentist appointment, they told me to stay home because they could just tell that I was just so out of it at work. I want to leave. I didn't want to go home, but like they just told me I was so out of it. And I was like, well, you told them you could work and you didn't want to go home? He's like, yeah. And I was like, well, they can't tell you that you have to leave. They can't make you leave for a medical condition if you're saying you can work and your doctor didn't say that you can't work. So that's illegal. They can't do that. And he's like, no, it's cool. Okay. So one day, this same week, we go to one of his best friend's house. It's his best friend, their family, and their dad. And we're there, we're cooling. They're like, oh, let's pop a bottle. Whoop. And I was like, oh, wait, like, we didn't bring anything. I was like, nah, the menace, we need to go to the store and we need to bring something. Like, I'm not coming here empty-handed. Like, they just fed me. They just popping a bottle now. Like, nah, like, I don't move like that. Like, go to the store, go get a bottle. We go to the store, get a bottle, come back, pull up in the driveway, and the menace gets a phone call. And the phone call is HR. And the mayor's office just fired the menace. While I'm in the car, I hear the entire phone call. It was extremely brutal. They were literally on the phone like, we don't have to tell you why we fired you. Just know we're firing you. Like, we're letting you go. But I don't have to tell you why. You can contact so-and-so and so-and-so. Go ahead and turn in your equipment on this day, and that's it. And I'm just like, and they were like, and the menace is asking, like, why? Like, what happened? Like, what did I do? And he's like, I don't have to tell you anything. And I'm like, oh. Ooh. So we're in the driveway of his friend's house. And we walk inside. My face is bloodshot. Like, I'm in my head, I'm like, what do I do right now? Like, I'm in a relationship with this guy. He just lost his job. And I really don't want to stay with him beyond losing his job. And I think that was written all over my face. And my intuition at this moment was like, leave him right there. Like, leave him at his friend's house. Go ahead, pull up out of that driveway and leave him at his friend's house. But inherently, I'm not a bad person. So I'm there, and the dad of his friend, like, pulls me to the side and is talking to me. And it's like, man, he's, like, a really good guy. Like, don't give up on him. Like, I know, like, he lost his job. Like, it's not, he'll get another job. Like, don't do that to him, man. Like, don't give up on him. Like, he's a good guy. Like,
those are the friends you need to be scared of. Those friends that come up to you and say, that person's a good guy. Honestly, when I had good men that I dated, nobody ever had to come to me and tell me, Tasha, this person's a good guy. This person really likes you. This person... It's the men that's bad. that are shitty people that have friends that always come to me like, Tasha, this person's a good person. This person really love you. This person this person that. But the people that were really good men, never. I never had a person come to me and be like, Tasha, he's a good guy. He loves you. He loves you. Because I feel like the bad people know they're bad. People know they're bad. Right.
This is a 60, 70 something year old man, like, talking to my 20 something year old behind, telling me that this man is a good man and don't give up on him. He's a good guy. Like, just take care of him. Just take care of him. So I'm sitting at this friend's house, and the friend is starting to tell me stories about old stories and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, man, he used to be so wild. I don't know what you're doing. Like, you're doing such a great job with him. He used to be so wild. This isn't the first time I heard this. So I'm like, what do you mean? What does this mean? And he's like, well, you know, when his parents died, he got into drugs and was just doing really bad, and you know, he's clean now, he's doing good now, like, but he just, like, he spiraled. Both of his parents died in a short period of time. He spiraled out of control, like, but he's clean, like, he's been good for a while.
How do you know? How do you know he's been good? How? I love when people tell me like, yo, he used to be crazy. He used to kill everybody, but now he's the good. He don't kill people no more. How you know? How you know? People always want to act like they know people's lives. And that person might be a crackhead in the back of the house.
Mind you, this man told me that his parents died in 2019, around the same time my dad died. He trauma bonded with me over that. He said his dad died on a holiday. My dad died on a holiday in 2019. I don't know if his dad really died on a holiday. I have no freaking idea. To fast forward to this point, his parents, his dad had just died months before he and I met. And I had no idea. So when this friend is trying to tell me that he was on drugs around the time his parents died, his friend is literally talking about like yesterday, making it seem like it was years ago.
Yo, shorty. I promise you I'm not laughing at you. But what? Yo, this dude made it seem like it was like years ago. And he's like, yeah, he's better. That's what I'm telling you. Stop listening to people. Every dude that tell me, yo, Tasha, this guy's a good guy, he really like you, I leave. I promise you I break up with you. Like, oh, he's a good guy? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Poor girl.
So now we start to get into the drugs. So my friend's lying. The one person that I expected to tell the truth about what happened that night didn't tell the truth. And why he said he did not tell the truth that day was just because he really didn't think too much of it. He said, I seemed really happy with the Menace, and the Menace seemed really happy with me. He said the Menace seemed very into me, and he just didn't want to like ruin a relationship over something he didn't deem as that serious. He saw the Menace like, I guess, dancing with people and stuff like that, but he didn't take it as like people were uncomfortable and it had stepped into like a sexual assault realm. So that's why he didn't say anything. As for the other people, I don't know why they didn't say anything. I haven't asked. I haven't really been in communication with any of them, and I haven't taken it back to that point, like why. I don't know, but it was a mixture of men and women who said that nothing happened. And I don't know why the women said that nothing happened. My assumption is that some women were entertaining it and didn't want to say that they were entertaining him, and that some women were uncomfortable. But I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, so now he has a half a tooth gone. He now has Percocets that are supposed to be prescription for his teeth. And he now does not have a job. So let me just check something really quick. My intuition was telling me to leave after he lost the job. My moral compass is what made me stay. But I really strongly believe that it was my intuition, like, this is another red flag. Go, 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 go. Like, go. Like, that's what was happening. And my moral compass overrode my intuition. Because I was like, that's messed up. Like, I can't do that to him. Like, you know, like, he was just working for the mayor. Like, he's been there for, like, over a year. Like, he can easily get another job. You know? But that was not the case. That was not the case.
But the way they fired him too should have been a red flag too. Because okay, like for example, if I did something at work, right? And my boss calls me in, like most likely, like if I'm in trouble, I'll probably get like a meeting with my boss. Everybody be there, or they, hey Tasha, can you come to the office? If they call you through the phone, excuse me, if they call you through the phone and be like, you already know what you did, I don't need to tell you, blah 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 blah. And if you, the way they made it seem, they acting like he's a criminal, like he's a criminal. So it must be something really big. That should have been your red flag right there. Because even when like I remember one time my son's father, I swear, he used to do credit card fraud. And I don't care what anybody says. No, that's not true. Yes, he did. And it was a whole group of them, and they worked in BJ, and they fired all of them. And my son's father tried to make it seem like, oh, it wasn't me, but he was the ringleader. You were the manager. You was part of it. You was buying food with other people's names, so you was part of the credit card fraud. And they fired all of them, like all of them. Everybody was outside, posted, okay, jobless. So it's the way they fired him should have been your red flag.
That was not the case, and we're going to get there. So, his teeth. He now has Percocet. All right, cool. I now hear a conversation with him on the phone with his sister. Apparently, he has this large inheritance. His sister has to sign off on him taking out money from his inheritance, and he has to sign off from his sister taking out money from the inheritance. So they both basically have to be in agreement for either one of them to take money out of the inheritance. That's what he said. I don't think that that's true. I think that his sister has control over his inheritance, and I think that she's fully capable of having control over her own, and I think that that's the way it was set up. I think it's one-sided. She has control over his. But neither here nor there, that's alleged. That's just my thoughts. So anyway, he's on the phone call with her about getting money out of the inheritance because he has to get the rest of this tooth extracted. I don't hear the other side of the phone call. I don't know if he was really on the phone. I don't know, but that's what's going on. He's supposed to be getting money for this tooth. Bet. All right. So now some time is going by, and I'm starting noticing little changes in his personality. And one day, he walks into my house mumbling, like just babbling off at the mouth. I don't know, like, I'm really not making out too many words that he's saying. And I'm kind of like, okay. So the next day, once he's talking normal again, I was like, what was that? What was that? And he's like, what? And I'm like, you were just mumbling words yesterday. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was just really drunk. I was really drunk, like really drunk. Yeah, my bad. I was just really drunk. And in that moment, I was like, you were not drunk. That is not alcohol. I don't know what it is, but I don't want to ever see it again. If I see it again, we will not be together. And that was that. That was that. So after this conversation, he starts talking about how he would never try boat and how he would never try meth. And I'm like, okay, that's random. Like, all right. And he's like, yeah. Like, I would never try boat. I would never try meth because, like, I think I would end up being addicted to those things. So I would just never try them. Like, do you see these people out in DC and, like, what they're doing and blah, 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 and, like, how they are on the streets? I would never try boat and I would never try meth. So I'm like, okay, what's boat? What's that? And he goes into this whole spiel of what boat is. And long story short, it's PCP, and it's a slang word for PCP in DC.
I was about to say, I thought that was a term. I was like, what is that? What is it? Like, maybe.
What's that? And he goes into this whole spiel of what boat is. And long story short, it's PCP, and it's a slang word for PCP in DC. And he goes into this long story about it, and I'm like, how do you know all this? And he's like, I mean, I work for the mayor. Like, I was working for the mayor. Like, I had to know this stuff. I've been working for a long time, and I had to know this. Like, I'm the person who's, like, out on the streets who's supposed to be, like, helping people and, just being a role model and things like that. Like, I have to know about these things because it's really prominent in DC. And I'm like, okay. Okay. So moving.
Just watching her, you can tell, like, when you zone out and you zone in, like, you can tell the depression in her. Like, you can tell, I can, like, see the sadness in her. Just her dazing out and dazing back in. And she does that a lot. You can tell, like, when someone just was like, damn, like, how did I get here? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's so pretty, though. I keep saying that, but she's so pretty. She's a beautiful girl. I'm just complimenting girls. I'm not into girls. Please. I don't want nobody coming in like, oh, no, I don't like girls. I like boys. Just wanted to let you know. But it just makes, I feel like a mother. Like, dang, she's such a beautiful young lady. And dang, like, but everything's a lesson learned. God never put you in a situation that you can't handle. Maybe that's what her purpose is to lead other people,
For it from there, I started noticing that my tolerance for liquor was getting really low. And my tolerance for liquor really isn't that low. Like, I can go shots for shots. I can go rounds for rounds. Like, my tolerance for liquor was not low. Cutwater was my thing back then. If you live in DC, like, or just in the States, like, some places, if you know. Cutwater was my thing back then. And he, like, was always bringing gifts. Every time I saw him, he always had a gift, always had something. And a lot of times it was, like, a new thing of Cutwater. And I couldn't figure it out. Like, I was just like, okay, maybe I need to cut back on Cutwater. But it was, like, anything or anytime I was drinking with him, my tolerance was so low. My migraines started increasing. Like, I've always been prone to migraines. My migraine started increasing, and it just started taking me, like, way longer than usual to get over alcohol. And my brain started getting, like, really foggy, and it just started getting really weird, like, brain-wise. It just started getting really weird, really foggy, and, like, really jumbled. And I was just kind of like, what is going on? What this is not, no. Like, even, like, I had stopped drinking liquor and was just drinking wine. Even, like, sometimes I would just be, like, chilling out, drinking wine. Like, it would happen. And the culprit is that I was always around him. So, fast forward to knowing what I know now, I was being drugged. My alcohol was being drugged when I was with this person. Multiple times. Because and I think that this problem happened.
You see? If you, like me, I have a story time of me being drugged. I'm drugged by a dude who used a paper pretending it was perfume. It's on my other channel. You can type in Tasha Society. I think I was drugged by perfume or whatever the hell the story is. It's so crazy because it's just this. I just hate that the fact that people feel as if they can do what they want for you. And that's why a lot of Haitian people, like, I'm old-fashioned Haitian. If I go to people's house, they're like, "You hungry? No, thank you. You want something to drink? No, thank you." Mm-mm. I learned that a long time ago, especially after the whole drugging. I don't eat at people's house. I don't drink at people's house. Only like my family, you know. My family has wrong intentions, but that's rare. I don't drink at people's house. I don't sleep at people's house. I just don't trust people. And this is a person that you like and you care for and you want to be with that is doing this to you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Happened, or he started doing this, because I was very adamant about no drugs in my home. And whatever that was weird, and it's not going to happen again, or I will not see you again. And so he started working overtime and underhandedly trying to get me addicted to drugs.
That's probably why he kept bringing up the drug stuff, to see where your mind was at about it. That's why he kept prying and saying, "Oh, do you know about this? Do you know about this? Do you know about that? Do you know about this?" So he can see where your mental is.
All right, part 5. This is my last part for the night, and after this, I'll probably get on live. We'll see. It's 2:50 a.m. So anyway, the tooth. I think that tooth is still in his mouth. If there is a missing tooth, I think it happened long before my situation with him. I think that him complaining about a tooth and missing a tooth and all of that, I think that that was just a ploy for it to be acceptable for him to have painkillers around me. Because I have quite literally already been very adamant about no drugs, you know? Like, your friend already told me you had a bad spell. Okay, I accepted that. We moved on from that. There's no such thing as drugs around me. So I think that's what the tooth situation was. Like, it was just for him to be able to have Percocets around me. So with a narcissist, you always get the truth within a lie. Always get the truth within a lie. So with him being like, "Oh, I never take boat," or "I'll never do meth," or whatever the case may be, something I would never even think about, that's because that's what he was doing. So when he was mumbling and babbling off at the mouth, that was boat. Mind you, I'm telling this story in hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. Now I've done the research. Now I've talked to people who know him. And now I've kind of figured out like all this stuff that was happening. You know what I mean? So I'm telling this story in hindsight. This is in present moment, the stuff that I know now. I did not know this stuff when it was happening. Okay? Like, so now I'm getting headaches consistently, migraines consistently. This person is now living in my house and I'm getting consistent migraines. I'm going back and forth to my doctor. My doctor's trying to figure out what's going on. We're doing brain scans. We're getting blood work. We're doing all this stuff trying to figure out why, like, I'm getting migraines the way that I'm getting them. He's switching in and out my medicines. Like, he's giving me sample medications, like, try this, try that, try this. And we're going through this whole thing of me trying to fix these migraines.
That's so dangerous. He can kill you, well, not kill. He can end you, like, for real. Like, what? Like, what if you overdose? Or what if he's giving you all these medications and it just... I'm scared. Like, I think I'm gonna be single forever. Oh, Jesus.
So in the midst of having all these migraines and stuff, the menace is like, "You really need to try Percocets. Like, I promise you, like, it'll work. Like, just try Percocets." And he's begging me for some time to try these Percocets. And I'm like, no, my doctor got it. Like, my doctor will handle it. Don't, like, nah, like, we're figuring it out. I need to have, like, a medication that works for me, like, going into Korea anyway. So, like, we'll figure this out. You feel me? And the menace is begging me to try Percocets. So eventually, I finally try Percocets. And immediately, I'm like, why does this feel different? Because I have been prescribed Percocets in the past, multiple times. And so he's like, it's 30 milligrams. Like, you've probably only been prescribed 5 or 10 milligrams. Like, it's 30 milligrams. That's why, like, it feels different. Like, it's the same. It's just Percocets. It's just a higher dosage. I'm sure you can guess by now what those Percocets were. But I am done with this story time for right now. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to get on live for a little bit, maybe to clear up some questions that y'all may have or some gaps for like this point on to part 5. But we'll pick this up tomorrow for part 6. Bye. Y'all, I've tried to record part 6 like 5 freaking times and it keeps deleting and I'm so irritating. Like, somebody get this devil up off me. Whoever the lady is, get it off me, okay? Because something don't want this story out, but I'm going to get it out. So back to part 5, what the Percocets were. The Percocets was fent. They were Fetty. So now we are in an attempted murder situation. He gave me a medication, made it out to be something else, and it was actually something laced with something extremely deadly. If you live in America, you know that there is a fent crisis and that a lot of people die from that same situation. And yeah, this person could have literally murdered me. I didn't know that the perks were Fetty until getting to Korea. So that will come up later, but yeah, had no idea. So in my lives, everyone's been asking me about the family. What is the family saying? Where's the family? The rest of my part 6 deleted once again. This is the 3rd time making this specific video. So where's the family? The only blood family member that I know of his is his sister. He is not in contact with any of his other blood relatives. From what I know, from what he has told me, that's also a red flag. So when I first met his sister, I met his sister very early on in the relationship. Very, 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 very early on. It was a red flag to me that he was so eager to want me to meet his sister. He was very eager for me to meet her and very eager for her to come to my home. He was not living in my home at this time, but he wanted to have dinner with her at my home. And at the time that she was visiting DC, I was kind of like confused because I'm like, why isn't she just staying at your house? Like, why is she getting a hotel? Why isn't she just staying at your home? Like, what's up? What's going on, you know? And so, you know, she comes over, whatever. Anyway, that eagerness, I think, came from him. He was using me to look like a better person in front of his sister. Like, oh, see what I have access to, see the person I'm with. Like, I was pretty much used to make the narcissist look better to the outside world. That was my role. So, yeah, met her that time. It wasn't a weird interaction, but it was weird for me to have met her that early on. So fast forward to Christmas time. We were supposed to go to his sister's house for Christmas, who lives in another state. And he's like, yeah, we'll just stay with her or whatever, you know, like in the beginning, he's like, yeah, they'll take care of everything or whatever. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So closer to Christmas, he ends up telling me, yeah, my sister does not want us staying at her house. We'll need to get a hotel. And also they want us to go in half on the expenses for Christmas, like the food and everything else, which isn't abnormal or anything. But by this time, by Christmas time, he had already lost his job at the mayor's office. So I'm like, who's paying for this? Like, you expect me to pay for flights, hotel, and food at your sister's house? Absolutely not. Like, it's not happening. And so I was like, you can go to Christmas, but I'm not going over there for Christmas. Also, like, I'm like, at this point, I'm kind of like, is it me? Like, why doesn't you're her brother. Why doesn't she want you to stay at her house? Like, what's going on? And he's kind of making it seem like it's a me thing. So I'm like, well, I'm not going over there. Like, I'm not going there. So fast forward, we didn't go to Christmas. Fast forward. So fast forward to the time that we actually do go to her house. Now, this is where there are a lot of Easter eggs and a lot of very glaring red flags. As if the other red flags were not already glaring, these are like staring me dead in my face. We're at his sister's house. One day we take his sister's car to go to the grocery store. I'm the type of person, if I stay at your house, I'm going to contribute something. I'm going to go get something. I'm groceries, liquor, whatever the case may be, I'm going to get something to put in your house. I don't like to just stay at people's houses and not put something in there, you know? And so we take his sister's car to go to the grocery store. We get back later on. We use the same car to go to dinner. So it's me, him, his sister, and his sister's fiance. And we're all piling in her car, her two-door car, to go to dinner. If you know, two-door cars, the front seat, you have to lift the lever, slide the seat up, and then once everyone gets in the back, you slide the seat back into place, right? So she and I, we get in the back, and the seat is no longer locking back into place, the front seat. He's the one that was handling the front seat. So he and his sister get in an argument because she's kind of like in sister mode, like, you're always messing up something. In the midst of their argument, he's like, well, T is me. T was in this front seat earlier, and it's probably her who broke the seat. The seat was fine before we just got in the car. Like, how was it? Like, I'm sorry, how did I just get in the middle of this, you know? And so I'm just like, what? Like, how I get in this? How did I get in this? So he's going on to say, we'll pay for it. He doesn't have a job. Who's paying for it? Like, not I, you know? And so later I'm like, what was that? And he goes on to say, I know it wasn't you. I know that you didn't break the seat, but I just didn't want her mad at me. And I knew she wouldn't have been mad at you. I knew she wouldn't argue with you, but she would argue with me. And I just didn't want her mad at me. And I'm utterly confused because I'm sorry. What? You just tried to blame something on me. Not only like am I here visiting your family because you wanted to come visit them, but now you're kind of trying to build a wedge between me and your family. And that is what narcissists do. They make the people closest to them not like like they triangulate you, and they make you not like the people around them. Like, it's the weirdest freaking thing. Okay, so number 2. One day I'm coming up into like our guest room, and I come in the room and he has thrown up on the guest bathroom floor. There are white bathroom rugs in the guest bathroom floor. He throws up on them. And I'm like, what happened? This is in the middle of the day. This is the next day. This is in the dead middle of the day. No one's hungover. No one drunk that much the night before. So I'm confused as to where the throw up even came from. But obviously we know now that it was probably drugs. So he's like, I'm like, just go, put the rugs in the washing machine. He's like, no. I can't do that. What do you mean you can't put the drugs in the washing machine? I don't know. Me and my brother maybe we're a different breed. I'm like, because I can use whatever I need to use in my brother's house and we're fine. Hell, me and my brother walk out of each other's houses with each other's stuff. Like, I don't ever have to ask to use the washing machine. So I'm like, just put the rugs in the washing machine. Just wash them. Like, it's not a big deal. He's like, no, I can't do that. Like, literally freaking out because he threw up on these rugs. And so he's like, I'm going to just tell her you did it. So I walk my behind downstairs, speed walk down the steps to go tell his sister that he threw up on her rugs. And her response was, I love my brother, but he is so problematic. That should have been a red flag. I mean, all of it should have been a red flag. Should have been a red flag. And I'm just like, why would you try to blame me? Like, again, trying to make me look bad in the eyes of his sister. Like, not that I was working overtime to look good, but like, you're working overtime to make me look bad, like to make it look like I'm messing up her things and messing up her house when you're the one breaking up stuff and throwing up on people's floors. Like, why couldn't you make it to the toilet? So then one day he and I are watching TV and talking to his sister's fiance. We're all hanging out. His sister has taken a nap and we're all hanging out. Me and his sister's fiance are like kind of like laughing, joking about certain things that probably happened throughout the day. I can't really remember the conversation or anything like that. So the menace gets up. He's upset, visibly upset. And he starts walking out of the room. So obviously at this point now, I have to leave with him because out of respect, I'm not going to be up here with this woman's fiance by myself, you know? All right. So he's visibly upset. He's walking towards the door. I'm now leaving the room behind him because out of respect, I'm not going to be in this room with this woman's husband, well, fiance, by myself, right? So we're leaving the room, both of us together. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah, because you want to have sex with my sister's fiance.
That went left. I wasn't expecting that. Yo, girl. Yo, what? Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, repeat that? What was that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He doesn't say anything. We go downstairs and I go off. We are in this house and we are in this guest room and I am going off. And I was like, you need to walk your behind back upstairs and you need to apologize to your sister's fiance. Now. He leaves the room, goes upstairs, comes back and is like, yeah, he didn't even hear me. Like, you're tripping. Like, he didn't even hear me. Y'all, when I tell y'all there's no way that man did not hear him, there is no way that man did not hear him. And I'm literally going off. And I'm like, you are that jealous and that insecure that you would literally put something like that in the atmosphere of your sister's home? Like, when I tell y'all he was working overtime to make it very uncomfortable for me to be in this house. Like, why would you even do that? So I'm like, all right, cool. So to take it back to the last part or whatever, the Christmas situation, because I had to redo that story so many times, I ended up missing like vital points of that story. So Christmas, after I made the decision that I was not going to Christmas, he came to me after Christmas and was like, yeah, my sister is pissed at us that we are not going, that we did not make it to Christmas. She is so upset. And I'm like, we didn't make it to Christmas because of you. Like, I don't give a shit who she's mad at, but we didn't make it to Christmas because of you. So one of the things that he would do throughout our relationship was try to use his sister's status to manipulate me. There was a lot of forms of manipulation that he would try to do. A lot of them did not work. And this is one of the ones that did not work because I'm quite literally like, I literally don't give a shit what your sister thinks. I'm confused. And so there were multiple times throughout the relationship, yeah, my sister's not going to like you because of this. Yeah, my sister is pissed at you right now. Yeah, my sister's not. She's just not. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, I'm so confused. So I don't know if that worked with other people, like his, other women that wanted to be with him, wanted to be close with his sister. I don't care. I was just kind of like, I'm sorry. What? So that was one of the things that he would do for manipulation. Also, I think that this situation with his sister, that situation at his sister's house was kind of when the smear campaign started against me with his family. Mind you, me and his family got along. From what I could see on my end, unless I was missing social cues, me and his family got along well. Like his sister's fiance, we all got along well, unless I missed social cues. He did not like that. He could not stand that. And during that time, that weekend that we were at their house, he worked overtime to try to dismantle a friendship and a relationship that we were building. Also, I saw a comment that was like, he was using you to get the money from the inheritance. Yes. 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 He was using me, he was using my status, and he was using who I was to present to his sister as this clean individual. Like, he's now clean, he's now off drugs, and he can get the inheritance. And I'm gonna talk about that in maybe part 9. But right now, we're going to roll into the grape and the sexual assault. Okay, so that's gonna be part 8. All right, part 8. I told y'all in the previous video that part 8 was about SA. This is a hard story to tell. I tried to record the story multiple times. The waterworks started to flow, so now I'm trying to re-record it again without any waterworks and just get through it. It is important to know about this part of the story that I could not remember any of the events that I am going to tell you. I dealt with dissociative amnesia and could not remember any of this stuff until I got to Korea, until I started reporting this man to the police station. And I distinctly remember sitting down at the police station and asking the policeman for a break because a flood of memories just came in that I did not have before. They looked at me and they said, "We understand. This always happens to people who are dealing with a lot of trauma." February 14th, 2023, Valentine's Day. I come in from work. My apartment building has decorated the lobby. It's Valentine's Day. They have champagne, they have hors d'oeuvres, chocolate covered strawberries, all the whole nine. We grab a glass of champagne. We go upstairs. I open my little gifts. My gifts include a box of Cutwater. By this time, some people are asking, like, what, like, was I just taking care of him? From what I know, he was living off of his inheritance. He had gotten some of his inheritance money from his sister. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what I know. So we drink a glass of champagne. We take a nap, get up. And he has already opened a can of Cutwater for me. And it's like, come on, like, let's start drinking. So we drink Cutwater, we leave out, we go to this play. We get a drink from this play, and I think I may have had a couple of drinks from this play, but not enough to be drunk. The whole time I kept saying, how am I this drunk? How am I this drunk? I don't understand how I'm this drunk. This is, like, not me. And he's like, you probably, because you mix liquor, like the Cutwater was tequila and then you had something else at the play or whatever, probably because you mixed. Yeah, I know how I am when I mix. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. So we get back to the house. He wanted to go out and do more stuff. I was like, absolutely not. I do not feel myself. I need to go home. We get back to the house. He looks at me and he goes, "Are we going to have sex tonight?" I jokingly respond, "Ha ha ha, we'll see." He looks at me and his face structure is not the same. His eyes have no color. They're black. And he goes, I'm surprised I haven't forced you yet. I forced all my women. I look at him and I say, you mean grape? And he says, it's not grape if you're with someone. That'll be extremely hard to prove. He proceeds to pin me down to the bed, pins my arms down, pins my legs down, and is moving forward and forcing himself on me. I am now fighting him off of me. As you can see by now, I have been drugged, so I do not have any like body strength to fight like I usually could. I proceed to bite him on his neck and I think like on his shoulder up here to get him off of me. That was the only form of defense that I had at this point. The next flash of memory I have is my body and head being slammed against the wall and me being choked unconscious. The next flash of memory that I have is him FaceTiming my mother and telling my mother that I just randomly attacked him. I am so drunk and I randomly attacked him out of nowhere for absolutely no reason. He is now on the phone manipulating my mother into a storyline so that I will not be able to speak my truth to her, I guess. The next flash of memory I have is me putting him out of my home, trying to get him out. He is refusing to leave. Those memories may not be in chronological order. They are flashes of memories that I have from that night. The next day, I wake up and I'm instantly looking over at him and I'm like, what happened last night? He has this complete look of guilt on his face that immediately starts to go away when he realizes that I truly cannot remember what happened. He then starts to once again create the narrative that I randomly attacked him out of nowhere. I then start getting flashes of memories in my brain, taking me back to a time when I was in elementary school and a high schooler, I believe he was a middle schooler or a high schooler, I don't know, in elementary school tried to essay me. My brain is going back to that time, a time that I haven't thought about in years. I wake up while I'm getting up, and I now realize that my hoo-ha is in a lot of pain. I look at my body, and I have bruises all down my legs, and I have a handprint bruise on my arm. And now I'm starting to ask, did we have intercourse?